podcast is right for you. Talking MMA and UFC. No Casuals is the place to be. Whether it's Aiden, Luke, or Teddy too, the No Casuals podcast is right for you.
All right, guys, welcome to a very special episode of No Casuals. We're here joined by Valley Fight Series professional fighter Godspeed Jimenez. Welcome to the show. We're super excited to have you on. As always, we have Luke with me, and then, of course, special guest Godspeed. How you feeling?
Feeling great. So.
I'm feeling good. How you feel, Luke?
Pumped. First interview on No Casuals.
That's right. So we're just going to jump right into these questions. Obviously, in your amateur and professional career, you have a variety of wins coming through a lot of different ways. You have some knockouts, some submissions. Do you have a preference? Do you like knocking out more than submitting, or do you just find the finish however you find it?
So I guess I got kind of classified as a striker due to the knockouts.
Yeah.
But when I came into MMA, I pretty much was like, I'm going to try to be like a well-rounded fighter, you know. But I guess when you're sparring with different kind of guys, different kind of bodies, or fighting, I guess. Striking is what they've seen, so classified as a striker. I feel like striking, like after a knockout, is something special. I mean, a submission's cool, it's still a finish, but it's nothing like, you know, it's the best thing in the sports, like a dunk to basketball, you know?
Yeah, man. And then, so you've shown from your amateur fights, which I watched before this interview, and then, of course, professional fight at VFS, you showed leaps and bounds of improvement in your ground game coming from a striking background. What do you chalk that up to? How did you get so good at grappling so quick?
So, in my head, I was already really good at grappling. I took a loss, had a year layoff, so I got caught in a submission against an actual really good grappler. But not to take anything away from him, he was a better man that night. It was due to cardio. I got myself resting in a certain area that I shouldn't have been resting at. And I was so exhausted that I wasn't really paying attention to my jiu-jitsu side. I was just worried about getting my energy back. But I just kind of started working areas that I felt that I was really weak in. And I was like, okay, cool. I know fighters are going to want to take me down. Well, I hit pretty hard, so, the takedown shot usually ends up happening. So usually it'll be like, okay, cool. I know he's going to try to take me down, and I've been getting the last two guillotines on the fence. That's come from, game planning, trying to figure it out, that's what they're going to shoot for,
Absolutely. And you've seen success in both the featherweight and lightweight divisions. So for your future, is the one that calls to you, or maybe you feel more natural in when you fight?
Actually, so I'm a lightweight and a welterweight. That's what I was, accidentally. But I won the welterweight state one, and I won the lightweight state one. The welterweight one, it was just my walk-around weight. I was just chilling. You want to fight this weekend? So I take it. And then I fight at lightweight, but I do feel that I'm still a small lightweight.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I'm a small one. So maybe going to featherweight where my power would even translate even more. I need a nutritionist, making sure I'm doing it the right way. Just make sure,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we know there's some ties between your gym, Burgos, and the Scrap Pack up in the Bay Area. Do you plan on going up there to train with Scrap Pack, or do you like to stay in Bakersfield, stay local?
So I've never actually trained with the actual Scrap Pack team. I'm pretty new to Burgos. I used to be a part of this team in Bakersfield called One Nation MMA. And then the team kind of disbanded. Everybody went their own routes. And I would train a lot in Los Angeles at TMMA. I did a camp there and then still go over there to spar every once in a while. That's my second gym, I like those guys. And then I have a couple friends down in Legacy in Los Angeles. I just tend to go to the Los Angeles route. I really like it over there in San Diego. I usually rarely ever go north. Me going past Bakersfield is very rare. But yeah, I would really like to meet the Scrap Pack because I'm a huge fan of them. I've been a fan of Nick, Nate. I've been a fan of Jake Shields. I was Gilbert Melendez, a super fan of Strikeforce. So, I'll respect those guys. It'd be cool to meet some of those guys.
Yeah, that'd be really cool for me too. I haven't met any of them either. So you have a lot of first-round finishes in your amateur career, including a 4-second knockout. But in your professional debut, you got into the second round and got your finish with a guillotine that was an absolute highlight for the night. Do you prefer getting these quick finishes, or do you like dragging your opponents into deeper waters when you go for the finish?
I like fighters that come to fight. It's kill or be killed. Kind of like Shavkat Rakhmonov. He comes to try to finish you. Maybe his last fight was the only fight that people were like, oh, this one was kind of boring, he's safe. But these are world class athletes. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to win. But every night that I go in there, it's like this guy's trying to take my head off, so I'm gonna try to take his off or try to choke him out, tap my whatever way I can. So like if we were fighting like a real life fight, would he kill me or would I kill him? That's kind of how I look at this. So I try to get decisions. But like it goes into the second round, I get a decision to win. I'm not upset because it also shows I have more than just a skill set. I have the cardio to last the 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And obviously camps and training take up a lot of your time, but how do you spend your time when you're not training, and what are your favorite hobbies outside of MMA?
If you guys haven't met me, I'm like a super nerd. Or if you guys watch my Instagram stories,
Yeah.
I like fashion. I like anime. What else? What else? I have so many like niche hobbies that I like. I play soccer. I used to be a basketball player. I came into fighting from different sports. I played basketball. I played football. I did track. I have my track medals from when I was a kid still. And then I'm a hardcore anime fan. That's literally what I binge watch. I watch tons of that. But anything that has like a hardcore fan base, including like Star Wars, Star Trek, like Harry Potter, because I'm unemployed. This is all I do. So as soon as I get off training and something like caught my attention, I'm going into a niche rabbit hole trying to find it all out. And then so in case somebody brings up a conversation, I'm educated at least.
Yeah.
And a pop culture guy. That's what it is.
Yeah. What are your favorite anime? Just for the record, I'm curious.
So Naruto's what got me into anime. I used to come home like from like second or third grade. Well, actually, maybe younger. And I would go on my computer on YouTube, and it would take 30, 40 minutes to load one video. And it'd be an A and B of like Naruto and Linkin Park. Like the songs would be collided, and I would just watch that all day long. But I like Naruto. I like Hunter x Hunter. I'm a big fan of My Hero Academia too, even though it's kind of gotten a little corny, but I still like it. And then I like Death Note, Cowboy Bebop. I've pretty much watched almost all the animes. I can go on.
Yeah, Death Note's. I'm a fan of Death Note. I love Death Note, but
Death Note's amazing.
So you choose to go by Godspeed as your fighting name. What is the inspiration behind that sort of name?
So that it has multiple different meanings. The first one is may God be with you. God be with you on your journey. Usually soldiers tell you that when they go off on a suicide mission. When Godspeed. Hopefully God is with you on your journey. But, I was hanging out with my friends one day, and I was like, we need a way to, give me a nickname. We're bowling. He's like, we need to put your nickname on the board. And then he had asked, he's like, oh yeah, you threw a couple names out there. One of my friends threw Godspeed out there. And I just remembered that Boss Rutan, when I was a kid, told me like, happy birthday, Godspeed, and party on. And for some reason, I barely read that tweet. I read Reddit. I got it back in like 2012, 2013. And then, so I was like, that's actually, it might be the perfect nickname. And it's anime related. From Hunter x Hunter, the character Killua goes into a mode called Godspeed. So that's kind of like, it just kind of all aligned in one. I was like, that's probably going to be my nickname.
Yeah. And then who are some of your biggest, in the world of MMA, who are some of your biggest inspirations? Who do you try to model your fight style after?
So I've been a big fan since I was like a little kid. Like I've been watching my whole life, WWE and MMA. So there's been eras. Like the first guy that I ever watched on TV was Chuck Liddell. He was throwing bombs and he would try to like knock people out. That was the first guy. And then Anderson Silva came into his prime. And I really, really liked his flashiness, his flair, the art for fighting, the way he was able to finish people from weird angles, do things. And he wasn't only a knockout artist, he was a submission threat. Yeah, he was boring because he's known as a counter striker, but at his peak, I remember Dana White was like, this is the GOAT of MMA. Until, we get John Jones, Mighty Mouse, and George St. Pierre comes into his own. But I also try to model myself with people like George St. Pierre, a true champion, a guy that wears suits at the press conference, a super nice, humble guy, understands the technique, a true martial artist. Like, he embodies everything that you should be doing right in the sport of MMA. He took care of his body. Like, if you look at him now, like 40 something, almost going to 50, I think, or something like that, and he still looks more in shape than me. And then, of course, John Jones, just longevity. It's like LeBron. You should like LeBron. The longevity, he's the GOAT, And then, and then modern time, I probably like Carlos Prates, the fighting nerds. They're very unique fighters. And you should try to be as unique as I possibly can.
Absolutely. And this is kind of two questions built into one, but what's your current walkout song, and do you plan on sticking to that, or is there some other music that you like to represent that maybe ties into your personality? We've learned about your personality recently, and it kind of seems like something that's diverse and representative of you. So What do you make of that?
So, in Bakersfield, I have a nickname, kind of to Mexican culture. I have my own nicknames that I kind of give myself. But here in Bakersfield, they tend to call me Rey, which is the king. Call me the king of Bakersfield, which I didn't give myself a nickname. I'm like, it's cool. But the Mexican culture wants to be able to relate to me, so I usually come out to Spanish songs. Earlier in my career, I would come out to whatever I wanted to come out to. I listened to like Playboy Cardi and this and that. And then I started watching way more edits. Edits coming out to Spanish music, and I was like, damn, I'm not only representing myself, I'm representing like a city, a culture. So last song, I came out to Juan Marta, which is like a cartel song, I guess. Like the cartel plays it when they come out and they're in the shootout or something. You know, it very has a lore to it. And the song that I came out before is called El Bajo, which is about like a shootout that happened in Mexico. That's what the song depicts. But Mexicans tend to party all night, drink to it, dance, shoot their guns in the air. So it's very like you had to grow up in the culture to know those two songs. And then, but the song that I actually come out to is Vicente Fernandez El Rey. That's my song, even though I know tons of other fighters that came out to it in history, like boxers. Justin Gaethje has came out to it. But it's the song that really hits home for us, you know? That's the song that I'm like, okay, cool. If one day I'm lucky and blessed enough, I can bring the UFC to Bakersfield for a fight night and to come out to LA, you know, and come out to actually the Mechanics Bank Arena, living, you know, your dream in front of your crowd, your hometown, and to put on a performance like that, that's one of my dreams, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds amazing. And we know that you're a young guy, but is there any advice that you have to younger fighters that are trying to make it in MMA as someone who has found recent success in the sport?
I'm young, but I got into it really old compared to like your average guy.
Yeah.
So I was a month away from turning 24. I'm 27 right now. I've only been fighting for that amount of time. So, you know, other than, you know, the God-given ability and stuff like that, I really do train hard. So I believe young fighters should be training hard and always be willing to learn. Like, I don't know it all. Like, if it could be a guy that's brand new and still teach me something, or a technique that he's seen on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, it's always be a learner. Like, yeah, you're a fighter, but you're not just a fighter nowadays. That's not good enough no more. You have to be able to be an athlete. You have to be able to be a person that studies, understands film, learning new technique. You're seeking out new things, because if not, the game is going to leave you behind. It's evolving so much. Every year, every year, every section, there's a new move being pulled out. Oh, we got the calf kick now. Now you can't walk if you get hit there like 5 times. All right, cool. You got to learn how to do elbows. Like, I've taken beatings in practice to be able to learn this, but not to actually take it in the fight, you know?
Yeah.
But also, if I can do it, anybody can do it. If it's a younger guy, trust me, I'm just a nobody. So for me to be able to make it this far just on self-belief takes you a long way.
And then our last question, you're undefeated as a professional fighter, had a great amateur record. What or who do you have in mind next as an opponent?
As of right now, I think I'm trying to take the smartest possible route. As of right now, I'm still building. I barely, you know, set my foot inside the professionals. I could be the guy that's like, oh yeah, I want to fight the best guy. I'm coming for you guys, but that's not really who I am. I like Sugar Shine O'Malley, how he was really smart. He's like, why would I fight the tougher guys right now and I get paid the same? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I would rather build, not that I'm like picking like cans or nothing like that, not that I think my opponent is a can. I believe anybody can beat anybody on any given night. No, would never underestimate your opponent. But it's smart. It's business. You're no longer, now as a professional, you're no longer just a fighter. You're how do you say, what's the word for it? Now you kind of become the business yourself. Your image, your record matters. That's how much you're getting paid. Your social media, your sponsors, and the way that you're able to use these platforms, that goes up in value depending if you're winning, and that goes down in value, basically. So for me, I can get wins, stuff like that. In a couple of years, I'll be 5 or 6-0, and I wasn't in wars. I didn't take the brain damage. I didn't take my body. Wasn't all beat up. And 6-0, the UFC is calling me. Now in the UFC, it's unavoidable to fight the good guys. But at that time, you had been growing. You had been learning as a martial artist. You've been training with better guys, putting yourself in tough predicaments in practice. So by the time you get there, you're pretty much ready. You shouldn't be learning in the UFC. You should be well refined. So like, that's my outtake on it. So for right now, I'm still learning as a martial artist. I'm pretty new. I've only been like in this sport for like 4 years. So that's, what is it called? Like, I didn't go to university or college, but what's 4 years like that? If you're in your bachelor's?
Bachelor's, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bachelor's in MMA now. So, yeah. Yeah, that's right now. So I still have my time. I still can eventually get my doctorate, So eventually, 8 years to 10 years, I'll get a doctorate or something like that in MMA, and I'll be more refined, so I have more knowledge by then. That's
I
all.
think that's what we have for you. But thank you for giving us your time today. We appreciate it. This has been No Casuals with the incredible Godspeed Jimenez. Luke Linden was with me.
Mm-hmm.
Any last words, Luke?
What's that?
Any last words?
Best of luck to you in all your future fights, and it was great getting to know you.
Thank you,
And
guys.
then,
I
do you
really
have
appreciate
any
that
last
time.
words, Godspeed? Anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug on the show?
My sponsors, I didn't really get a chance to do that on the interview because it's so many of them. But ProMotion for my chiropractor, Cryo 360 for my cryo recovery. It's pretty much just like an instant ice pack. Prosper, they help me out financially all the time. They're an amazing group. They help me pay for my fees and all that stuff, medicals. They're amazing. Dirty Bulk brand gives me free clothes. It's really awesome. It's gym wear. I know I'm forgetting somebody huge. But they'll forgive me. They'll forgive me. And then thank you guys for having me on the show. I really do appreciate you guys' time too and reaching out to me.
Of course, this has been
Of course,
No
man.
Casuals. Thank you guys both for your time.
Thank you guys.